Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I am back with part 2 using my Simon Says Stamp 2021 April card kit. And today I'm going to be doing 5 cards using the pattern papers and stickers included in the kit. So I've started off here by using one sheet of the pattern paper and I've trimmed that into 2-inch sections. I wanted to use the flower as well as the butterfly, and then I'm going to leave that diagonal black and cream stripe in the middle to sort of connect everything. So I have trimmed down that side piece with the flower on it to make sure that's going to fit. And I'm going to go ahead and place down this diagonal stripe first. I'm placing that right in the center. I just used a little leftover piece there as my marker on where to place that down to make sure I had everything lined up the way that I wanted. Then of course I'll add some ATG to the back, and here I will trim off that excess. Now I'm going to place down my side panels a little differently than usual. I'm going to have a border on either edge. So for the butterfly panel, I'm going to place that down with the border showing on the top and right hand side. And then for the floral, I'm going to place that down with the border on the bottom and left hand side. So similar kind of look as to what we usually do with the panels, but just changing that up a little bit for something different. So that's what that's going to look like there for the front panel of my card. And now I'm going to add my sentiment. So I have pulled in some black licorice cardstock from MFT, and I'm going to stamp out the sentiment. Thank you so very much. Adding some of my anti-static powder, and then I'll stamp this using the new cream embossing powder that was included with the kit. Go ahead and heat set that. A little bit of ahead of myself right now. There we go. I'm going to lay that out and decide how long I want that sentiment to be. So I'm just going to trim that out a bit. It ended up measuring, let's see, grab my ruler. Final measurement was 3 3/4 by about 1.5 inches. I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of that just to give that a little bit more dimension. And then as I'm pressing that into place, I decide it's over just a little bit too much. So I do go ahead and trim maybe about 1/4 inch off that. Like I said, the final measurements is 3 3/4 by 1.5 inches wide. And once I'm happy with that, I will go ahead and press that into place. For the inside panel, I am using a Nina panel trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to stamp out the sentiment, "You are a gift." And that is using my Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. I'll add some ATG to the back, place that on the inside. And that will complete card number 4. For card number 5, I have trimmed down one of the pattern papers to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to add some ATG to the back, and I will place that on top of my card base. Oh, I should mention that both the last card and this card, the card bases are that Simon Says Stamp peacock that were included in the kit. Just cut that in half and made 2 card bases from that cardstock. Then I'm going to pull in a couple of the butterfly stickers. I'll pop those up using some foam dot just to give this a little something extra, a little bit more dimension. I'll just place that off to the side, sort of hovering over the flowers there. And I will pull in this smaller peachy pink butterfly. And I did pop that up with a little foam square as well. For the inside, I have added a Nina panel trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. Gonna add some ATG and press that into place. And then I'm gonna grab one of the stickers that reads "Follow Your Heart." And I'll pull in my ruler just to make sure I keep that nice and straight. Finally, as one last touch, I'm going to pull in my Nuvo shimmer pen, and I'm just going to run that right over the word "you" just to give that a little bit of an accent. And that will complete card number 5. For card number 6, I'm using a card base made from Stamp Market Emerald cardstock. I have trimmed down this pattern paper to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to be using another one of the cut aparts with this little bird on it. I didn't really like that sentiment, so I went to my stickers and found this "Love You" sentiment. I thought that's going to work perfectly. And I'm gone ahead here and just popping that up using some foam dots. I want to give that a little bit of extra dimension. I also want to add some dimension to my cut apart, so I will place some foam tape behind that as well. Peel away that backing. I'm going to place that down in the center, but slightly off to the left-hand side. Again, just a different look from what we're used to. Trying to change things up a little bit. And then I will peel away the backing on all my little foam squares there, and I'm going to strategically pop that into place to cover up that other sentiment. For the inside, I'm on my trusty Nina panel trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to stamp out the sentiment, "You are one of the best things in my life." And I'm going to finish that up with another sticker that reads "So Thankful." I'll add some ATG to the back of that panel, place that on the inside. And that will complete card number 6. Card number 7 is probably the most detailed card we'll get into today. I have trimmed down this pattern paper, and this measures 4 by 5 1/2. So you'll see I kind of have things hanging off the edge there. I'm laying everything out. I'm adding in these stickers. I'm just lightly pressing them down because I know I want to add some foam dots behind them. Just sort of want to see how things lay out. I wanted to sort of accent all of those blooms in the background by having, some of them pop up and be a little more vibrant in the front. And then I wanted to make sure that I used this little sort of metal sentiment. I have wanted to use some of the Tim Holtz stuff that's been included in the last few kits, and it sort of gets pushed off to the side because it's not something I usually work with. So I made a point to want to use this on one of my cards this time. So I have pulled away the backing on all those foam dots and pressed my stickers into place. There you can see I've added a little butterfly sticker there as well. I'm going to add some art glitter glue behind this metal sentiment here. And of course I have used the ribbon that was included as well and placed that through on either end. Now I pressed this down and then I used some Scor-Tape to place down my ribbon, and then I realized I had not trimmed my panel down. So thankfully I hadn't wrapped the ribbon around the back yet. I was able to peel that back up, and I will go ahead and trim off the excess, just making sure to keep everything centered the way that I had it, just taking about 1/4 of an inch off either end of that. Then I have gone ahead and added down more Scor-Tape to attach my ribbon, and I'll wrap that around the back side of my panel. I'm gonna add some foam tape behind to pop that up. Of course, I will go ahead and peel away the backing, and then I'm gonna press that on top of my card base. And this card base is made from Stamp Market Tropic cardstock. And I place that down with just a little border of that cardstock on the top and the bottom showing. Decided to add one more little pink butterfly there. I'm gonna place that near my ribbon, just off to the side of my sentiment. And then for the inside, of course, it's a Nina panel trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4, and I've added the sticker Embrace and Celebrate Each Day. I'll add some ATG to the back of that and place that on the inside of my card base. And that will complete card number 7. Card number 8 is going to be our final card for the day. The cardstock I'm using is Pineapple from MFT. I have, of course, trimmed this pattern paper down to 4 by 5 1/4, added some ATG, and attached that to the top there. I've got a stripe of this pink and cream polka dot pattern paper. I'm going to add some ATG to that as well and place that down off to the right hand side. Have, I want to say, about 3/4 of an inch, maybe slightly over 1/2 an inch sticking out on the side there. I'll go ahead then and trim off that excess. And then I've got another one of my cut aparts. This time I'm not going to pop it up. I do want to have a sticker off to the side, that flower sort of popping up though. So I'm just kind of pressing that into place. And then I will grab a foam dot and place that behind the flower and place that down. I'm gonna add some ATG to the back of my cut apart. And when I place that down, I'll just slide that underneath the edge of that flower there. I'm gonna add one more floral sticker there down at the bottom, just kind of finishing off that cluster of flowers, making it look sort of half on and half off of that cut apart. I added this yellow butterfly up at the top, which I did really like, but once I trimmed off the excess, I didn't think it looked quite right. So you'll see I will take that off in a minute or so here. Yeah, there, I've trimmed things off and it just doesn't look quite right to me. So I'm gonna get rid of that one. Tried moving it around a little bit, maybe if I angled it differently, but it just wasn't working for me. Finally, I do grab this little pink butterfly. I try it in a couple different places, but I end up just placing it up at the top corner there to replace that yellow one. Grabbed one of the sentiment stickers here that reads Always and Forever. I'm gonna pop that up using some of my foam dots. And I'm gonna press that into place right underneath that yellow butterfly. For the inside panel, again, this is Nina Trim 2 4x5 1/4. And I stamp out "You are one of the best things in my life" using my Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And then I'm going to finish that off with a little blue heart right underneath it. Pulls in a little bit more of that blue from the sentiment that I used on the front. I'll add some ATG to the back and place that on the inside of my card base. And that will complete card number 8. Here are a few close-ups of the finished cards. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.